Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to the Truth Is live event. How you guys doing today? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me well. How you guys doing on this beautiful Friday? Today again, we're back with some interesting topics for this live event today. We're going to be talking about Tyler the Creator's new music video for Sorry Not Sorry. We're also going to be talking about a video that my mom actually sent me out of all people about a Spanish artist that's openly admitting that, the devil approached them. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the situation. Some of you might be aware of this, of a rapper named BTB Savage. The situation just happened real recently. It's a sad situation. We're going to get in that as well. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the Liquid Death commercial and the entire Liquid Death brand. I wanted to give my input on that. I've been seeing some imagery coming from them. So let's get right into it with the first Tyler the Creator topic. Taco, roll the clip from Tyler the Creator, please. No, all right, 1 second. All right. So a while ago, I made a video about, I'll say like a year or maybe almost 2 years now. I made a video on Tyler the Creator, and I spoke about a lot of the imagery in his videos, and it was most of his earlier work. And he had this demonic satanic character back then where it was full of satanic imagery. He had 666 everywhere, the Satan 666 shirt. He had the golf, the Wolfgang imagery with the his eyes rolled back, and in that one video, which was his best video, Yonkers, his biggest video at the time, he had the roach, and he's eating the roach, and he has all this dark imagery. It's completely different from the Tyler the Creator that we have now. It's like a whole different Tyler the Creator. They rebranded him, and that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Taco, roll the clip from his new music video, Sorry Not Sorry. See, I saw his new music video for Sorry Not Sorry, and I saw some very interesting imagery in this video that did him. Now they created him into a new character to push us a different agenda because they no longer need him. A lot of people think that Tyler the Creator, for some reason, is not a part of the Masonic Order. But the thing is, in this music video, we can see Tyler the Creator, the entire video, showing the one eye symbolism. He puts his finger over his eye. He stands in a specific moment to show his eye. This is direct one eye symbolism. And then on top of this, he actually performed back in 2019 at the Grand Masonic Lodge. He took a picture in front of the lodge and everything. The Masonic Lodge covered it. Taco, can you pull up the article, please? He's actually performing at the Masonic Lodge. He's in front of the Masonic Lodge. And it's interesting that people, for some reason, think that all the satanic things he did was all for shock value, it was all just a joke. But he's still showing satanic, he's still showing that he's a part of the agenda. He's still showing the same imagery. It's just now he's being used, he's been repurposed. It's the same thing we're seeing with what they're doing with what I believe they're doing with Black China. I did a few videos on Black China recently. I did one on her mother, who actually came out first and exposed her. I'm pretty sure some of you seen that video. And then I did another one on her mother again, exposing her about the Baphomet tattoo. And then I recently, just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I did another video where, because I saw a lot of you guys mentioning that she had got baptized recently, which it wasn't recently. She had got baptized a year prior, but she was just, using it now because of what her mother was saying about her. I saw a lot of interesting imagery in that situation with Black China, because Black China has always been a part of the industry. Has always shown that she's one of those women that are pushing that specific agenda, the same agenda like Meg Thee Stallion and all these other artists. Now they're trying to repurpose her. We saw her at the Grammy Awards in they're calling it, they're calling it the Black Swan. They're saying that she was dressed like a black swan. That imagery, like I said, it represents a rebirth. It represents someone being, changed. It represents a subtle change that people aren't expecting. And that's basically what we saw with Black China. Now, with the Tyler the Creator situation, it's the same exact thing. They had Tyler the Creator play this character, that he got famous off of it, and then when he was no longer needed doing that, they rebranded him, they repackaged him. In this video, that's exactly what they show us. Taco, can you go back to the Sorry Not Sorry video? And content that he's creating and what he's putting out, you can still find subtle imagery and you can still find what his true purpose is. The fact that he performed at the Masonic Lodge, and he performed honorably for them because they'd even posted him on their website. You understand that's something that this video that was sent to me by my mother out of all people. She calls me and she's super concerned. She said she was watching YouTube and this video just popped up of an artist that my dad used to listen to. And she said that I had to see it immediately because he was saying that he sold his soul and that he was in a deal with the devil. You know, I listening to my mom, I checked the video out and it was actually very interesting and very alarming what this man is saying. And I did my research on the guy. He really is an artist who was a part of the industry and probably still is. And in the 80s and 90s, he saw a lot of success internationally, even in the country of the Dominican Republic where he's from. But he was a big artist and he had some very interesting things to say. The only problem, the clip is in Spanish. We managed to get subtitles on it and I will try to explain it after the clip is played. So if you guys didn't understand anything, I can properly get you guys to understand it. Taco, roll the clip, please.
Satanás vino a mi presencia y mi esposa estaba ahí.
¿Tú lo sentiste a Satanás?
Lo conocí.
¿Que tú conociste a Satanás?
Claro, en el cuerpo de una persona que por respeto no lo voy a mencionar porque es excesivamente famoso.
Okay.
Pero puedes más o menos contarnos
Esa experiencia.
Exacto.
Sí. Es que tengo que disfrazarlo porque la gente tiene conocimiento de esa fiesta.
Ok, disfrázalo.
Bueno, sí. Yo estuve tocando la fiesta de una persona muy famosa.
Ok.
Estaba Donald Trump, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Estaba Donald Trump, estaba el papá de Michael Jackson, había muchos famosos. Y Satanás, esa persona me contrató. Entonces, cuando termina la fiesta, la persona llega y me dice, yo te puedo brindar todo lo que tú quieras, Grammy, no te va a faltar nada. Esto que está aquí va a ser poco. Pero a cambio de, mi esposa dice, no, tú no le puedes dar nada. Dios le puede dar. No te voy a negar que me estaba gustando.
¿Tu esposa estaba ahí en la proposición?
Parada, como está Jessica ahí.
Es una propuesta indecente.
Sí, pero me estaba gustando.
Pero, ¿y qué te pedía a cambio?
Ahí voy. Mi alma.
Tu alma.
Sí. Cuando mi esposa le dice, no, tú no le puedes dar nada a él. Dios le va a dar a él lo que él quiere. Y él la agarró, le dijo,
¿qué?
no te metas. Y la jamaqueó. Yo estaba tan hipnotizado que era para yo darle un trompón, ¿verdad?
Y tú te quedaste tranquilo.
Normal. Porque me estaba gustando lo que me está ofreciendo.
Oye.
Estaba como asimilando, imaginando, visualizando.
Claro.
Estaba en un trance.
Sí, sí. Me dijo, yo soy fulano de tal. Porque tú sabes que él no puede engañarte. Él tiene que decir, yo soy Satanás.
En el cuerpo de otra persona.
En el cuerpo de otra persona. Mi esposa desbarató todo eso. Yo tenía una villa ahí para amanecer ahí, para dormir con ellos. Nos fuimos. En el camino, tuvimos un accidente donde mi esposa se hizo la misma herida, el 7 ahí. Yo estaba manejando y parece ser que alguien me movió y la puso a ella. Y cuando yo despierto, estoy encima de ella y ella con la frente sobre la autopista. Y ahí yo entendí que él me estaba hipnotizando. Y mi esposa.
Yeah, this is a very interesting video. For those, if you guys couldn't understand, let me give you a quick breakdown of basically what he says. He says that he was at a performance one day and he was performing for some very famous people. And he said that after the performance, he was hanging in the back with his wife backstage. And the person who hired him to be at the performance walks up to him and starts proposing something to him, telling him that he can give him the world, he can give him everything, and he can basically get him to the next level. You know, he then reveals to the artist that he's the devil in this person's body. He says that immediately falls into some sort of trance where he feel like he's being hypnotized by the devil basically in this person's body. Notice that he mentioned some celebrity's name. He said that Donald Trump was there. He said that Michael Jackson was there. He immediately says that he falls into this trance, and the only person that's really trying to save him from this whole situation is his wife that's next to him, and she's reaching out to him, telling him, that they don't want nothing to do with it. They don't want nothing of the deal. He said that after they rejected the deal, they had a hotel room there, a villa there, but they rejected the villa. They said that they were, they'd rather go home. And when they were driving home, he ended up having an accident, which he refers to. He said that the accident happened because the devil put him in a trance again. And he felt like, the devil was hypnotizing him, trying to take his wife. This is a very interesting confession. And it's important to note that he really is a part of, he really was a part of the music industry. He was signed to record labels. He had success. I believe he's still touring. I believe he's still performing. So the fact that he comes out and says this, it's interesting but alarming. Like I said, it catches you off guard, specifically because we've never heard another artist say that the devil approached them in the body of another person or anything like that, which I would imagine it is. I believe the devil works through people. So I'm not surprised necessarily, but I'm surprised that he actually admitted this. And the fact that he says that if he sold this soul to the devil would offer him a Grammy, would give him total success within the industry. That right there lets you know that a lot of these artists that have these Grammys, they went the same route as him. I believe all of the artists. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you guys think all of the artists that have Grammys sold their souls, or do you think that there's some artists that haven't? If you think there's some artists that haven't, comment them in the chat right now. See someone asking his name. His name is El Jeffrey. That's his stage name, El Jeffrey. Yeah, for those that are saying they all have, they did. I believe the same exact thing. All the artists at the top took the oath. All the artists that managed to get a Grammy took the oath. And he's saying that the devil literally offered him. That was one of the things in his arsenal of offerings. He said, I'll give you a Grammy. I'll have you performing at the top with all the biggest artists and making the most money. He knew what he was offering this guy. This guy knew that that's what he wanted. He wanted every single thing in the world, and the devil was offering it to him. That's what I try to explain to you guys day in and day in and day out. You don't just sell your soul to the devil by just being an occultist. There's many ways to sell your soul. Compromising your morals and compromising your beliefs is a way to sell your soul. If you compromise yourself for money, you're basically selling your soul. You're selling your soul to money. And who owns the money? Just look at the back of the dollar bill and you see exactly who owns the money. So when you're slaving yourself away and you're doing something that you do not agree to or you do not necessarily want to do yourself, you're selling out. You're just doing it for the money. That's what the purpose of selling out, especially if it's immoral, especially if it's something that is going to be looked at as a sin or something that you wouldn't do normally. And this man, he's saying that his wife was the one that was able to get him out of this trance, and a trance that the devil put him in. Just like if we look at, in the Bible, it specifically speaks about when Lucifer offers Jesus the world, and he tries to do the same thing to Jesus. He tries to put Jesus in a trance. He shows Jesus the world. He shows Jesus all these things that he can have and how he can make him the king and the king of kings on earth, basically, and have him have everything. But Jesus didn't fall for it. You understand? Jesus is the Son of God. He's the one true path. He didn't fall for it. He showed us what the path was, rejecting the devil, telling the devil, no, we're not going to sell out. We'll take the long route as long as it takes. It doesn't matter what it cost us. That's what this proved. And this is exactly what this man said. Now, do I believe he didn't sell out? That is debatable. There's imagery of him doing the one-eye symbolism. There's imagery of him showing that he seems to have had something wrong with him, that he was battling within him because he could have possibly sold his soul. And the fact that he did reach these massive levels of success. So I wouldn't be surprised if he himself also sold his soul. Well, now let's move on. The next topic I actually wanted to talk about is this BTB Savage situation. I'm not sure if you guys have been aware of what's going on with this. I became aware of it this morning. I saw it on social media. This guy recently did an interview with DJ Vlad where he speaks about a situation that happened to him where two guys were trying to rob him. They book him for a feature. He invites him over to his house. And when they go to his house, they attempt to rob him, and he defends himself. His girlfriend ends up pulling out her piece and letting go at the intruder, and the guy passes away. He goes and does an interview. I'm not sure how long after the situation happened. I'm gonna say a couple months later or a few weeks later. I'm not sure the exact timing, but he goes and does an interview with DJ Vlad, and he talks about the situation, and it seems like he got some clout off of it. But then it's being reported that I think it's yesterday or today, or I believe it was yesterday, he passed away. He was targeted because he posted a video, a picture on Instagram, basically showing off the aftermath of the intruder that he had to take out in order to defend himself. So he basically was bragging about taking someone out, boasting it online, doing what all the rest of the rappers do. And literally, it looks like either the next day or a few hours later, he ends up being taken out himself. They caught him in a drive-by situation, and he's gone. It's just so sad to see, because I actually watched the DJ Vlad interview where he's talking about the situation, and he's basically bragging about it in a way. Like, there's moments where he says, the guy was about to pass away, and he was asking him to take him to the hospital and spare him. And he denies it. He looks at him and tells him no. He curses at him and says, you're going to stay right here. And he lets him pass, which I believe is incriminating as well, because aren't you supposed to call the police after a situation like this happens? And number two, like, I understand the situation. You have to defend yourself when there's an intruder around. You have to do what you have to do to stay alive and protect your family. I completely understand that. But then when you boast about it and you post it and you talk about it and you try to spin it for something positive to try to promote your music career, that's where I think it becomes negative, and it could have a negative result, exactly like what we saw. We saw the negative result. He's no longer here. He went and spoke about this and decided to get clout off of it, and he's no longer here. It's like the disease that's plagued hip hop. We were just talking about this with drill so many times, how these kids have a need to brag about something so evil like death. Do you understand? Like, this is something that it deeply bothers me. It saddens me, because how could anybody be proud of ending of destroying someone else's life? How could anybody be proud of that? It always blows my mind. But then that these people would make on full-on careers. Like, I'm pretty sure he was probably going to if he hadn't, spin it into a rap career, or if he hadn't already, talk about it in his raps and make songs about it. Because honestly, the cast that he's wearing in the video where I show in the here, that cast is a result of the incident that happened when the intruder broke in. He's going viral now, but for the wrong reason. He's going viral because he's no longer here. And like I said, the amount of people that are going to continue to have this problem because they're hypnotized, just like the last artist said. They're hypnotized by the devil. The devil has them under a trance. It's always interesting to see how much these kids are willing to not only incriminate themselves, but destroy their own lives just for that 15 minutes of fame. And like I said, he's getting his 15 minutes now, but I'm pretty sure you guys would all agree with me. It wasn't worth it. This is sadly what the industry is becoming. He wasn't even a big artist either. That's another thing. And then DJ Vlad is another case, because like, this kid at all was not a big artist. He has about 30-something thousand views on average on his videos. He's not that big of an artist at all. So the fact that DJ Vlad interviewed him DJ Vlad only interviewed him, I believe, is because of the situation that happened where him and his girlfriend had to defend themselves. And DJ Vlad wanted him to tell that story because DJ Vlad profits off this kind of stuff. This is what he posts about on his channel. He's pushing that agenda. And I've already proven that DJ Vlad's a Freemason. I had to take my video down on him because he said out of his own mouth that he'll copyright strike and claim anybody's video where he's, in the video or being shown or they're using his material. So I went down and just privated the video to make sure, that doesn't happen to me. But yeah, this is what Vlad is about. Vlad likes to profit off of situations like this. Vlad can't say, oh, I'm only interviewing him because he's a great artist and he caught my radar. There's no way that this kid caught Vlad's radar. Vlad's interviewing him because of one reason. The situation that happened, he looked at it as another Soulja Boy situation. I'm 100% sure you guys remember when he had Soulja Boy on there explaining how he caught a body and how he had to defend himself. That got Vlad a lot of views. Vlad's been struggling with views. If you go on Vlad's channel, you'll see that he's not doing the views, pulling the views that he used to. People aren't interested as they are in him as they were before. So his views are going lower and lower, and people aren't tuning in. So Vlad needs to find more content like that Soulja Boy situation, and this is exactly what I believe he did with this right here. And it's sad because he's providing the platform just like a lot of these other platforms are doing. They're providing the platform for kids to come and promote this and big it up and make it into what it is. It's a sad situation, and we have to make the change. We have to stop promoting and supporting this. You can't just come and tune into The Truth Is and not do nothing about it. You have to be a part of the solution. It's okay. I'm not saying not to listen to all of the music, but we can't support drill music. And we can't support any type of music that's promoting death, because as adults, as human beings, we have a responsibility, and we are not living up to that responsibility if we're allowing these people to damage our children, to poison our youth's minds. We have to be the solution, and we have to be the solution now while there's still something that could be done. Nardo Wick and rappers like G Herbo and rappers like that are just rapping all this drill stuff. These artists are the ones that are adding to the problem. They're making rappers like this guy, who's just an upcoming rapper who wanted to be in the industry, clout chase like this and end up costing him everything. He's not here because he looked up to rappers like Lil Durk talking about, dropping sneak disses and all this and that. That's why he's no longer here, because he was following in their footsteps. He was trying to be the next version of them. He was trying to brag about a situation where, like, if I'm not mistaken, Lil Durk brags about a similar situation where they try to break into his house and him and his girlfriend defend themselves or whatever, but they turned it into a whole entire, marketing scheme to show how big and tough and gangster they are. But in reality, we cannot be promoting this. This cannot be something that we're promoting to the children and telling the kids that this is positive. This poor guy, he's had a child in the house while the whole thing was happening. He had his child in the house while a man broke in there, a man that he invited, while this man went in there and tried to take his stuff and literally bring harm to him. He had to defend himself with his kid in the house, with all these when all these people letting go in there and all this drama happening. He had to literally deal with that with his kid in the house. Now his kid is left without a father because he wanted to go and brag about it. It wasn't enough that he survived the situation. He had to brag about it because of all the conditioning and all the programming that he's been living through. He wakes up and listens to hip hop, and hip hop is telling him this is how you be the biggest, toughest, the most coolest gangster, in the world. And that's what he's trying to be. It's just a very sad situation. It breaks my heart. I'm praying for his family. I'm praying for both of their family, even though they were both in the wrong. I'm praying for them, and I hope that their families get clarity, and I hope their families find a solution to this and no more damage comes because of it. But now let's move on. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Liquid Death, their demon water. This is something very interesting that I saw. I was actually scrolling on Instagram, and someone had posted their commercial, and it was only like a few seconds of their commercial, and it was a crazy commercial. For those of you who don't know, Liquid Death is a water company. They sell water in cans, and they have this imagery, this death imagery. That's like what they branded their stuff with. But they have actually been releasing some very interesting commercials that expose a lot about this company and tells us exactly what their purpose is. Taco, can you play the witch commercial for me, please?
Have you ever heard of a real witch summoning demons and trapping them inside cans of water? Inside this very warehouse, it's the entire inventory of liquid death and water. Each can is about to be infused with real demons by a real witch.
A lot of what I practice can be considered traditional witchcraft.
What you're about to witness is very real, very dangerous, and in my opinion, a terrible idea.
We enter into the dark half of the year. Now is the time of the dead. I ask you, spirits, those who are listening, I invite you here. I offer this water as a vessel for you to come into this world. When the cans are opened, you are released. I welcome you. Now is the time of the dead.
Demon-infused liquid death. If you drink it, will you become possessed?
My name is and I'm a witch practicing for 42 years. Through the means of witchcraft, I can affect the outcome of the game. I believe the odds are in my favor to have an effect on the game. Lift has been here since the beginning of time because it works.
They love to show us the truth in plain sight. There's a lot in this video. A lot in this commercial. First, the witchcraft, the satanic imagery. It goes on because even if you go onto their website, I didn't get to send Taco this. Taco, if you can, go onto their website and pull it up if you can and bring it in when you get the chance. Is on their website, there's a tab that says Sell Your Soul. So if you can, just look it up. But yeah, their imagery is beyond. And this is only in that one commercial. We have to unpack it all. First, he's talking about putting demons in the water. The ritual that they're showing, believe it or not, this is an actual ritual. This is not, even if it's a commercial and it's a joke, the way that they're presenting it, this is how they love. We know that they love to hide the truth in comedy. They love to hide the truth in plain sight. This is exactly what they're doing. You know, their can is literally talking about liquid death. And I haven't even looked into what the product is, but water that comes in a can doesn't sound very, it doesn't sound like a good product. Let's just be honest. It doesn't make much sense. Aluminum is going to end up leaking into the water. It just doesn't sound very, it doesn't sound like a proper thing to do. But then when you start looking at these commercials and you start seeing their branding, it's like it's right in the name. They're selling liquid death. They're selling what's going to, end you. That's what they're basically promoting with this. And then you have commercials like this where they're saying they have a real witch doing rituals and doing spells onto the water. Now, in the second commercial, which I had a part of this, was for the Super Bowl. This one, they're saying that they had to do witchcraft in order to be able to win the Super Bowl, that they were going to do witchcraft for their team to win the Super Bowl. This is very interesting, especially for those that watched my video on the athletes that I just did recently a couple days ago, where we had Tom Brady on there talking about his wife selling his soul. Let me see if Taco can find that. Taco, can you bring that clip up of my video? You can if you can. I'm gonna send you I'm gonna send you the, give me 1 second, guys. The Tom Brady part, you can fast forward because it's not a coincidence, people. It's not a coincidence, people. If you look what this person is saying, they're saying that they had to use witchcraft. Tom Brady said the exact same thing. Tom Brady said that his wife will tell him when he's going to win the games. His wife told him when he was going to lose the games. His wife told him what to do, what he had to do to win. What do you think they were talking about? You understand? This is what the industry is about. And I know that people are going to say, oh, the sports is depending on the player. The player has to be the best. You know, that's how you win. I understand that. In sports, you definitely need to have skill. But in order to win, like to actually be looked at as a star, you have to be a part of their system. They're not going to build up a star that they don't have control of. LeBron James, he shows that he's a puppet. He's the biggest athlete within the NBA. He is the most recognizable athlete. And you saw he just recently did his movie, the new House Party movie. They showed that he had this he had this Illuminati, if you want to call it, when there's really Freemasonry type party with all the celebrities attending at his house. And at the end, they show that him and Kid Cudi are a part of the Masons. You know, they're both into the occult. They're both into that system. This is not a coincidence. They're showing you exactly what it took for LeBron to be that big star that he is today. Of course, sports, you need talent. You need to be able to play the game, just like rappers. Rappers need to be able to rap. But when you start getting this influence, if you want to make it to the next level and not be your career to end abruptly, you have to pay the price. You have to get on their side. You have to do what they ask. Sako, how's it going on the clip? I need the sound. If no sound, we can just move on. Well, there's actually another commercial too that they have, because if you go on their website, if you go to Liquid Death's website, they have a tab on their website that says "Sell Your Soul," and it's to sign up for like their I guess like their e-list where you get like news about their stuff and whatever. And it literally says "Sell Your Soul." That's straight up what the tab is called. They had this whole campaign, this whole "Sell Your Soul" campaign, where they even hired Tony Hawk. Taco, can you play the Tony Hawk clip, please?
And I recently became an ambassador for Liquid Death Mountain Water. I didn't read the fine print, and now Liquid Death officially owns my soul and my blood too. It's very confusing. They're taking my blood, and we're going to use it for skateboard graphics. So they're going to mix my blood into the paint and do a limited run of skateboards using my real blood in the graphics. But some profits will go towards killing plastic pollution and to building skate parks in underserved communities. Yeah, so yes, go to liquiddeath.com to get boards with my blood in it. So wait, if you have my blood,
You see what they're showing us, right? Like, come on, guys. Like, at this point, I don't feel like they respect any of us. They're looking at us like we're just idiots. Their commercial is literally about selling your soul, how Tony Hawk sold his soul to the company. But we know Tony Hawk has been a puppet. But this is the imagery that they're showing. And they are already showing us that they're doing witchcraft with the Liquid Death and how the water is going to possess you and the demon-infused water, which is a disrespect because we know there's holy water and they're making demon water. But now they're also into blood magic. They're talking about how they're mixing real blood into paint to make skateboards. That is blood magic. It is not a coincidence. They're literally doing ritual blood magic right in front of us. And you know, this was the water that they played. I said to play. Sorry, this was the water that they served at the Super Bowl. Not the Super Bowl. Sorry, at the Rolling Loud event when Playboy Cardi was performing. And Little Uzi Vert, this is the official water that they were selling at the event, the Liquid Death water. That's not a coincidence again, people. Look at it. The entire Rolling Loud event was a satanic event. We had Uzi, we had Playboy Cardi, we had a bunch of artists that were showing satanic imagery. And then coincidentally, the water that they're serving is Liquid Death, a company that has a bunch of satanic imagery and that brands himself selling your soul, doing witchcraft. When they started the Super Bowl half of the commercial, you see how he's literally throwing up the Masonic all-seeing eye. That's literally how they start the Super Bowl commercial. That's just crazy. And then this is the brand that's been building itself up. This is the brand that's going to try to be associated to the youth. You understand? It's trying to make itself mix with the youth, because the youth already are being programmed to accept this kind of imagery and flock to it, like we saw with Playboy Cardi. So many people write off what Playboy Cardi does and says this is just all a performance. He's just doing it to be performative. He's just doing it for entertainment. But we know that's not the case. We know that Playboy Cardi, he is doing what they're instructing him to do. He is doing what he has to do because this is what he signed up for. And that's exactly what this company is showing us, that they're possessing the water. They're putting demons. They're having witchcraft being done on the water. They're showing us that they done witchcraft before the Super. They're saying that they did this. And then they're also talking about Tony Hawk selling their soul. They brand themselves with this demonic satanic imagery. And this is one of the companies that even the Super Bowl had no issue pumping out commercials of. They recently had a Super Bowl commercial, I think it was last year, where they show a bunch of kids drinking their water. And it's supposed to represent, like, kids drinking cans of adult beverages. They show them like hanging out, like how adults would be drinking, with the pals or whatever. This is exactly what they show the kids doing, but it's water. But we know what they're insinuating and we know what they're trying to promote. Now, let me go back to the Tom Brady video, because it's ready now. I want to show you guys, and then I want Taco to replay the clip with the witchcraft. When?
Any superstitions going into the game? Any special thing you carried into the game on Sunday that you had?
Give Taco a second. Taco got this. Spam Taco in the chat so Taco could do it faster. Let's see some tacos in the chat. We still having trouble, Taco? So just play the sound.
I was like, this is kind of crazy. And then about 4 years ago, we were playing the Seahawks, and she said, you better listen to me. This is your year, but this is all the things you're going to have to do to win. I did all those things, and by God, you don't work. Pretty good. And then in 2015, it was about early January, and she said, you know how much I love you? And I said, yeah. She said, I just want to let you know this is not going to be your year. And of course, we lost. I said, what does 16 look like? And she said, 16 is going to be your year. So it was early January this year, and I said, babe, I asking, like, do we have a chance? And he said, yeah, but you're going to have to do a lot of work, and you're going to have to listen to me. So, man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, see, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine. She said, you're lucky you married a witch. I'm a good witch. She said, you're lucky you married a witch.
As you heard for yourself, Tom Brady. And then play the Liquid Death commercial for me one more time. Yes.
Have you ever heard of a real witch summoning demons and trapping them inside cans of water? Inside this very warehouse, it's the entire inventory of liquid death and water. Each can is about infused with real demons by a real witch.
A lot of what I practice can be considered traditional witchcraft.
What you're about to witness is very real, very dangerous, and in my opinion, a terrible idea.
We enter into the dark half of the year. Now is the time of the dead. I ask you, spirits, those who are listening, I invite you here. I offer this water as a vessel for you to come into this world. When the cans are opened, you are released. I welcome you. Now is the time of the dead.
Demon-infused liquid death. If you drink it, will you become possessed?
Sorry, now this is actually the part right here.
My name is.
They said they're going to use witchcraft. They showed the Masonic all seeing
for
eye.
42 years. Through the means of witchcraft, I can affect the outcome of the game.
You hear what he said? He said through the means of witchcraft, he can affect the outcome of the game.
I believe the odds are in my favor to have an effect on the game. Which has been here since the beginning of time because it works.
You heard him. He said the witchcraft has been here since the beginning of time because it works. They tell on themselves all the time. But it is that they think that people are too dumb to realize or too dumb to care. And they're right 90% of the time. People are too dumb to realize and too dumb to care. There was people commenting in the video that I did on the sports, people saying that it doesn't matter if they did witchcraft in order to win. They better hope their wives do witchcraft for them or their girlfriend do witchcraft so they can win. This is what people have been hypnotized and confused and manipulated to think. This is what they want you to do. They want you to think witchcraft is nothing. They want you to think there's nothing to it. They want you to think that it's okay to do as long as you do it to win, or that there's two sides to witchcraft. There isn't two sides. They just admitted to us, they literally told us, witchcraft is what affects the game. Witchcraft. Yes, they can be good players, but there's more to it. There's a side of it that we don't understand, that we're not supposed to be involved in. But these people that are occultists have chosen to commit to, have chosen to be a part of. This company, Liquid Death, I would stay away from their water. You understand? I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do with their lives or anything, but a company that has this type of branding, a company that's literally putting this ideology out there and letting you know, you should know to stay away from it, because there's nothing that these people make that's positive for us. There's nothing that they make that's going to help us in any way. Well, now I want to start answering some of you guys' questions. If you guys have any questions or anything you guys want me to touch on, today's live event is not going to be as long as usual because we're still doing a live on Sunday. I just wanted to get this one in because I wanted to talk about the the BTB Savage situation, and I also wanted to talk about this Liquid Death situation. But we have another live stream coming up this Sunday. But if you guys have any questions, this is the time for questions. I'm gonna be answering questions and any other topics that you guys want me to cover while we're on here. Let me see. This person, C-Rock, said there's no good witches. I 100% agree with you. There is no such thing as good or bad magic. Magic is forbidden by God. And let me talk a little bit about that so people can understand, because I've already seen that a lot of people say, oh, but there's good magic and there's good witches, and there's people that you have to understand that magic comes at a price. All magic comes at a price. And even what you would think is good, you're doing something bad. There is no such thing as a straight positive spell or a straight positive magic. It all comes from forbidden. It's all coming from a forbidden practice. Usually something has to be sacrificed in magic. Usually when you do a spell, someone is losing and someone is winning. So you might not think that you're gaining, that you're doing anything wrong because you're doing it for your self reason, for your personal gain, but you're still doing something that's not good to someone else. And even in just the general, if God forbid whatever he forbid, you can still do what you want to do because he gave us free will. But you have to know that he said that is forbidden. He said that is not allowed. So if he condemned it, you're doing it at your own price and at your own will. You understand? So when people bring up this two sides of magic, which is what we see a lot from like Disney, we see a lot from these kid movies, how they're always trying to paint this magic. That's what people get these ideas from. A lot of people learn a lot from the TV shows and the movies that they watch. A lot of people get this ideology from that, where that, oh, magic could be good or bad. But in reality, magic is magic and is condemned. It should not be done. Let's get to any other questions or topics. Let's see. Random username said, magic is ultimately a fallen angel demonic teaching. I 100% agree. I believe that magic was taught by the fallen angels, and that's why they worship these fallen angels, and that's why they see them idolizing Baphomet and idolizing these, these demons that were the ones that are teaching them this forbidden system, Payne Nagato said, do you think these world-class athletes are summoning spirits to play at a high level? I'm not sure. What I do know is that there is spells and stuff that occultists do for luck and like lucky charms that they make and stuff like in the sense where they believe that they get blessings and stuff. What I believe is that it's a system of occult and rituals. These people honor themselves. So like if you are a part of that system and they know that you do rituals with them, they're going to swing you in your favor. A lot of people think that sports is rigged. How many of you guys think the sports is rigged? Let me see in the chat. Because I've seen a lot of people say that sports is rigged. That's something that I have believed myself, because think about it. To keep sports entertaining, you have to rig it in some sense. You have to have some type of control over who wins and over who loses to get the best type of ratings, to get the most excitement out of it. I see a lot of you guys. I see a lot of you guys saying it's rigged. And I 100% agree. Because think about it. It's just, we're talking about the biggest games in the world with the most amount of people attending, with the most amount of influence. They have to have rigged it. They have to be able to sell it and make these, elaborate endings and twists and all the stuff that they want to do. Because if you think about it, wouldn't the best team just win every year if they're the best team? That's how I always seen it. If they make the best team, like that one year where they had LeBron and Dwayne Wade and I think it was Chris Bosh all in one team. Isn't that like, shouldn't that team have won every game, even though they still lost? The sports is just like wrestling. It's entertainment and it's created to manipulate and to distract people. Not necessarily the sport itself, but the watching of the sport, the idolizing of the gladiators, basically. It's the same thing when we go back to the ancient times where the gladiators would battle each other, and the audience will watch and cheer them on. It was just for their entertainment, to keep them distracted, while the emperors and those who ran the empire did what they did in secrecy and silence, keeping everyone distracted. This is what I see sports as to this very day. I'm looking for more questions or topics. Showing Alliance made a good point too. He commented, refs run the game, they wear duality, which is right. If you look at it, the referees, their whole outfit is just black and white. The checkerboard imagery, the black and the white, the duality imagery. And they do play a large role in the game. They're the ones who determine what is a foul, what's not a foul, who does right or wrong. They're the ones that they have a lot of power over these games. I believe that they could definitely play a role in rigging the game. Maybe there's some teams that don't know it's rigged, Taco said that someone brought up something over a Reaper statue that is being made in Los Angeles, I think you said. They said that they already put this statue up. Can you bring up, let me see it. And this is where? This is supposedly a statue of the Reaper that they recently put up in San Francisco. This is one of you guys comment this in the chat. This is interesting. I'm actually have to look into this because I was not aware about this at all. But D is looking it up right now. Let's see what she finds on it. Yeah, this reminds me of the statue that they put in New York recently. I covered it on my second channel. We spoke about it on my second channel. The statue was in the courthouse in New York, in Manhattan, and it was a big statue. It had this demonic woman. I think they were calling it Lilith. Weren't they calling it Lilith? Or it appeared like Lilith. It looked like Lilith. They weren't calling it Lilith. It appeared like Lilith. It's interesting that they're going this brazen now. They're not even trying to hide. They're literally putting up statues of their spirits, of the people that they idolize, you know? And it's sad that the masses look at this and feel nothing about it. They're not concerned. They don't think anything of it. They just see it as a normal thing, you know? Me, when I see things like this, it just shows a signs of the time. It's like what happened with the Georgia Guidestones. When I saw the situation with the Georgia Guidestones, I saw that as a sign. I saw that as something coming, you know, something that was going to be happening soon. Looking for more questions and comments. I'm checking. Wow, that's crazy. Someone just said that it's in San Francisco in the financial district. This is what they put where all the millionaires and billionaires go and interact with each other. This is what they want looking over them. Just tells you it's a sign of the times, man. Some people are saying they've seen it. Levi Botello said you can't sell your soul. Yes, you definitely can sell your soul. People do it every single day. I get a lot of people comment this that you can't sell your soul because God, you know, owns your soul. People need to remember that God gave us free will. You understand? God created us. And yes, he owns every soul, but you can still do what you do with your own soul. You have free will. You understand? That God doesn't control what you choose or who you choose to serve. People choose to serve Lucifer every day. That's literally them selling out. People choose to do evil every day to make money. That's them selling out. You understand? It doesn't mean that you literally rip the soul out of your chest and hand it to somebody. It represents the alliance. It represents who you choose to serve. So this is a misconception that we have to get out of there. There's so many people that sell their soul, and only the devil would want you to believe it's impossible to sell your soul. Only the devil would want you to repeat that and say that to people. It's not true. People sell their souls all the time. That's something that happens. It's something that happens with celebrities. And we were just listening to the Spanish artist talk about selling his soul and how the devil approached them. This is something that's been going on since the beginning of the industry. Obviously, you can't. Well, serving the devil is selling your soul. I understand that you mean no one can rip their souls with their hands and hand it to the devil. That sounds comical. With serving the devil, doing occult rituals, there's rituals that literally reference selling your soul and doing pacts with the devil. That's literally what I'm referring to, and that's what a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these artists, and like I said, there's other ways. If I'm a multi-corporation business and I'm worth billions of dollars, and I approach this artist and I tell this artist, hey, promote this terrible product to your millions of fans and do everything that goes against your brand and goes against who you truly are, and I'm going to give you $10 million. If the rapper does it, that's him selling out. He sold out for money. I spoke about the Denver airport. You guys can go check that video out. I see a comment here regarding it. Levi, again, you said God only has control of your soul. Unfortunately, we have free will, we have control of our soul. If that was the case, I don't think anybody would be going to hell. If God controlled every soul on earth, I don't think we would be living in the world that we live in. But that's the thing, God doesn't want slaves. He wants people with free will that choose to do the right thing, not people that he has control over, because those are not people. Yeah, we're going to get into the Quavo in the next live stream. I actually have a lot to say about his new music video and all, but I don't want to get into it in this live stream. I have to wrap up soon. We only have about like 10, 15 more minutes before I got to go. I really just wanted to have this conversation with you guys, and I want you guys to spam topics, what things that you guys want me to look into. I'm gonna put up a community post, and I want to see there's right now there's 892 of you guys in here. I want to see you guys comment what you guys want to see on this Sunday's live stream, what you guys want me to talk about, because I see that you guys put a lot of topics here, but if you'll put them in, I'm gonna make the community, I'm gonna have Taco do it as soon as we're done. He's gonna do it on Discord, he's gonna do it on YouTube, and you guys can go on there and post what you guys want to see me talk about this Sunday's live stream. The Quavo is gonna be the first topic, but I want to see what else. I see you guys mentioning a lot of Project Bluebeam. I'll look into it. I'll see if I can. I'll see what I find on that. This person says Sneeko. That Sneeko situation is pretty interesting. I actually wanted to talk about that. I'll get into it briefly, really quick. I feel like they're attacking Sneeko for some reason. I made a video a while back on Sneeko, and I said that I felt that they were trying to silence him. Not because of him exposing anything, but because of what he was saying, and he was backing up Andrew Tate's content and stuff like that. He was more like an Andrew Tate supporter. But recently he's been having a problem with another YouTuber, and we've been seeing like the entire YouTube platform come and attack him. Like I don't have a side on either of them, but I did find some interesting information on the Moist Critical that even Sneeko himself brought up. Moist Critical, which is a big YouTuber with a couple million subscribers, he's the one that has beef with Sneeko. He has music videos where he has a pentagram in the back. He's doing, he has the upside down cross on his head. He's doing a bunch of satanic imagery. And this is a music video that he posted on his own YouTube channel. Sneeko brought it up. I saw it and it caught my attention for sure. So I'm going to talk about that in full detail on Sunday. So you guys can expect that there. But I definitely it does seem like they're all, ganging up on Sneeko, and they're trying to, get him out of here. So maybe there's something that I'm not seeing about Sneeko, and maybe I should take a second look, because who knows? Maybe Sneeko is just being misguided by people like Andrew Tate, and he actually could be used in his platform for a positive reason if he can see the truth in a better way. So I'm gonna definitely I must look into Sneeko's content. It would be cool if we can have a conversation with him, but chances are I'm not going to be able to get that done. But I'm definitely going to look into him to see if there's any red flags. But I definitely feel that they're ganging up on him, which is usually not something I see from the creator side. The creator side, that kind of gets me, and it makes me feel like they're being they're being given something in return for them to do this. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on this situation, and I might have to talk about this soon. I'm looking for any more comments or anything else you guys want me to talk about before we go. I'm here until 13 more minutes. I got to get out of here at 3:20. I appreciate all you guys being a part of the live. It's really important to see all you guys here and show support, because this way, when we do more live events, we'll be able to grow the platform. We could all talk with each other, and I can literally answer your questions directly. I see somebody said, but Sneeko and Andrew Tate are controlled opposition. I definitely think Andrew Tate is controlled opposition. I used to think that there was something going on with Sneeko, but like I said, I just want to be sure. I want to double check. I want to make sure, like, if I go look into him and I still see that he's still on the same things, then I know for sure that I am right about Sneeko being a part, just being, you know, another puppet. But as of right now, the way that I see the internet, you know, ganging up, it just is kind of, it makes me, you know, take a second look and figure what's really going on. Thank you for the $2 donation, Zamira Hook Backup. I appreciate that. A video on Tame Impala. I'm definitely gonna. Can you write that down for me, D? Chop GTV, thank you for being a member. He said, "Have you heard of Code of the Lamb, the PS game that teaches how to run a satanic cult?" I've never heard of that. I definitely gotta look into that. Thank you, Hippie Chick, another member. I appreciate you. Hits historian. Sorry, historian. He's actually one of my Discord mods. I appreciate you, brother. And he said, "When's the WWE Part 2 coming?" The WWE Part 2 is going to be coming soon. I'm just waiting to see if they're going to strike my video again. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if you heard me the last time. After I had gotten the video up, after it was already out and you guys had watched it, they hit me with 9. It was 6 first, but then they hit me with 3 more copyright strikes. And the video was blocked worldwide. I had to literally trim out each part, and then they'll hit me with another 3. So I had to trim out those parts too. The video's up now, but it's missing a bunch of little clips and parts there, here and there. So I'm waiting to see if they're gonna do it again. If they're not gonna do it again, then I'm definitely gonna make a part 2. And it might just be more pictures in there and less videos so that we don't get in any trouble. Yeah, and that's why it's best that you catch the premieres while they're live, because this way you got to see it before they take it down. I've already had a lot of videos that I get hit with copyright strikes by manual copyright strikes, you know, after the fact. I want to thank DD83 for the $5 donation. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. I cannot pronounce your name. I'm going to try my best. Okugo Nawafra, thank you for the $2.79. I appreciate that. Epic 8 Hack is back. Epic 8 Heck. How you doing, brother? I appreciate you. Thank you for the $2 donation. Ever gonna do his question was, ever gonna do a video on the rapper the game? Yeah, I would have no problem doing a video on the rapper the game. I actually saw a lot of interesting imagery, and he done the one eye symbolism, and he was a part of the whole Shady Aftermath and Dr. Dre, and there's a lot of stories of him running around in the Hollywood private parties, if you know what I'm saying, the private mansion parties, that he's a attender. He's one of the artists that attend, but not just to attend. He's one of the dancers that dances to entertain. This was according to Hassan Campbell, if I'm not mistaken. Hassan Campbell said that he found out that the game was actually invited to one of those private mansion parties, him and Whack 100, and that the game was in there dancing and stuff. You know, it's interesting. Showing Alliance, thank you for the $2 donation. His question was, are you interested in Uganda? Can you elaborate? What do you mean by Uganda? I appreciate that. And then Audrey Merchant, thank you for the $2 donation. I appreciate you. We got J Bean. Again, thank you for the $2 donation. Thoughts on Nephilim, Flat Earth, and Antarctica. I can definitely make like a documentary style video, but I probably won't do it for YouTube because those are all keywords that I believe YouTube doesn't really like. So what I'm gonna do is I can make a video where I'm talking about all those situations, those specific topics, and I can make it available for all. Not on Patreon, it'll just be on a separate streaming site, and I'll provide a link. I'm gonna try. I think Taco will be able to help me make that happen, and I'll provide a link where I can talk about all those topics. One quick thing I wanted to say before we go is, yesterday I dropped a video on an actor, Army Hammer, and it was I believe was a very interesting video. But I did this video because I've seen a lot of you guys request that I do topics on other people that are not artists, and that was one of the videos that I did. It was on a Hollywood celebrity. His name is Army Hammer, and some crazy situations that happened with him and his family. I don't want to ruin the video for any of you if you guys want to go check it out. But it just shows that when you see that video, if you see, it literally wasn't recommended to nobody. It wasn't shown to nobody. Most people didn't even get a notification for it. They don't want you to see videos like this. That's why people think I don't make videos like this. I make them all the time. They just don't want you to see videos like this, so you're not going to get them recommended. And it's a sad situation for me because I spend 2 days working on a video and then they don't want to recommend it because of the type of information. But it's okay. I just want to make sure you guys know that it's out there and you guys can go check it out whenever you guys want to. I want to welcome the Joey to the Truth Movement. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for joining the Truth Movement. I see people here even saying that they didn't get their notification, and it's because they don't want people to see the video. You can definitely check it out. It was an interesting story, and it tells you what's really happening in Hollywood. All that imagery that Marina Abramovich was showing, I don't think it's a joke. This is a good question here. This person said I think his name is Prof, Proph. I believe that spells Prof. He said, make a video on how a lot of the black entertainers are primarily chosen to promote fast food and commercials. I don't think it's only black entertainers though. I think it's all type of entertainers. I think it's all entertainers that they use. They use entertainers because it's very strategic. That's the best way to get the masses to follow along, to play along. You use the biggest celebrities to get to the puppets. So of course they always use, like we saw with the Meg Thee Stallion. The Baby had a deal before they canceled it. They did it with a lot of artists. They did it with J Balvin in the Spanish industry. So there's a lot of people that are doing these things. It's just a method of, to get to the people and to feed them what they want them to feed, that garbage. And I want to make a whole nother video. I have in the past over food, but I want to make a whole nother video to try to get you guys which food you guys should be looking for and which food you guys should avoid. Akugo Noafor, again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Thank you for the $2 donation, $2.79 donation. Meg 222, DeVito and Mountains, Eagle Pyramids of Giza. I'm having D write this all down so these can be perfect topics for me to look into. I appreciate that. I want to thank the new members that got here too. First, let me thank Epic A Heck again for the $20 donation. I appreciate you. You think your videos have fallen under the radar of the music industry? What do you necessarily mean by that? Do you think that they're not seeing it in the music industry, or I don't necessarily get the question. Just retype the question. You don't have to donate or nothing. Just retype the question, and I'm gonna look for it in a second. Let me get to these members. Let me thank these members, and I'll answer the question. Already said. Thank you, El Guel. I'm really bad at names. I'm sorry. Thank you for welcome to the Truth Movement. I appreciate you. And thank you again, Joy, for becoming a member. I want to thank Cleveland, Ricans, and Associate for the $2 donation. And their question is, Roberto Clemente is a martyr. What is that? What is a martyr? I'm not sure what that means. Okay, I guess I have no idea who's Roberto. All right. I'm looking for Ahek's question. Did you rewrite the question yet, Ahek? Okay. what he's trying to imply is that I'm becoming known to the labels. I definitely feel like it because they're doing manual takedown strikes. A manual takedown strike usually, and I learned this early as being a YouTuber. When I would post, sometimes you get content ID strikes, which that doesn't happen to me no more because of the technique that I use to edit. The way I edit, that doesn't happen. But when the video gets hit with a manual takedown strike, that's a whole different story. That means the artist or the artist team watched my content. They didn't like it. They can't hit it with copyright claim legally because everything I do I operate under fair use. But they mark the content and they bring it down, and I have to either cut out the part of the video or remove the video entirely, just sit there with the copyright strike, because if I dispute it, it's a legal process. It's not even a part of YouTube at that point. It just becomes a legal process that's just too much to deal with. So in a way, I definitely believe that the industry sees what we're doing and they see what's going on. But if they did something to me, if they did something to the channel, it'll just make it look worse on their end. It'll even validate us more than what we already are. Everything we show here is proof and truth, and we don't have to make anything up because the truth is there. If they went and did anything or try to take the channel down, they're just confirming everything that we already know is true, but they have been working so hard to make the masses think we're crazy. You understand? Well, we're actually going to be we're actually going to get going soon now. I actually have to end the stream. I got to go pick up my son from school. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for showing up. I love you all. I want you guys to stay safe. I want you guys to remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. And I want you to remember the reason why I say that is because there's temptations every day. There's situations that can cost us our eternity. That one mistake, yes, we can always come back, but that one mistake can lead us down a path in life that can change our eternity, our outcome of our eternity. So like I always say, make sure you guys make every decision wisely. Make sure you guys think before you do. And I'll see you guys in the next one.